And here we go again with my Twitter videos about this post and filming things that are, from all sides, the arguments about the remarks that rightfully so Russia made at the UN and about this genocide in Srebrenica. The weight of change, Boris Malagursky, I've said it many times on X as well, the last 2-3 years. Go and watch that documentary and you will be more enlightened what really happened in Yugoslavia and in the Balkans and in the moment in Kosovo and why it should concern us all, that lesson. Really. But likewise, Germany should learn its lessons as well, and people, rightfully so, from all sides of the argument, are saying this about Gaza. After all, these are the sentiments of the people out there, the public. This is the true sentiment out there, not the newspaper, not your CNN TV news channel. No, these are the real sentiments among the people on all sides of the argument. And that's exactly what I'm interested in. To see. I have my own opinion about things. I know who is responsible for all our bullshit in Europe. And I'm opposed against those people. I'm opposed against the people who started the Soviets, who financed Hitler at the beginning, and when Hitler basically didn't want to play ball with them anymore, decided to cut him loose. That's the true story. And yes, the Jews declared war on Hitler in the 30s, before Hitler went after them. That's the true story of it all. And by looking at the sentiments, some people are aware of these true stories, some people are just ignorant. By looking at them, it gives a graphic picture. Well, I like this one. Von der Leyen, Biden, Macron, Scholz, Zelensky, because this comparison is actually very true. One meme says it all. And I saved them. Like I said, they are memorabilia for the future to come. Netherlands, 8%. Okay, England 28, France 26, Spain 23, Russia 22, Austria 19, Turkey 15, Poland 11, Sweden 9, Italy 9, Netherlands 8, great score. Germany, including Prussia, 8%, like the Dutch. Denmark 7%. Well, then I guess I'm in a good bloodline. Danish grandfather, not so warlike. German grandmother, not so warlike. And a Dutch upbringing, also not so warlike. Or at least that's how I remember my upbringing. But this is my little project. I film it directly. Sometimes I make remarks about other remarks. Sometimes I will just use it later out of these raw unedited videos. Metadata. Timelines. Sometimes I make screenshots for a publication that I am intending in the future from all this footage, directly raw unedited from X, in which we then, if time passes, we can see if certain claims about the Ukraine are correct or not. We will find out. And then we can compare what were the sentiments of the people, who were the driving powers in politics on either side of the agenda, in certain propaganda campaigns. And then really hold people to account. To account. What did you say back and then? What needed to be done? Whether it be about COVID, whether it be about Gaza, whether it be about the war in the Ukraine, whether it be about, the WEF agenda, WHO agendas, etc. It's a diary for prosperity. Posterity? Posterity, I believe it is. Hey, English is not my native language. But for me this is a very interesting diary. I see, for example, still a very anti-German sentiment out there. And thank God I also see people who come to the defense of Germany, to our new generations, instead of trying to make them guilt-stricken again. Please, you new generation Germans, please don't wake up that they put this guilt trick on you. They did. You are not responsible for the atrocities in the Second World War. Neither are you responsible even for World War I. You're not. France, the UK, they are. Even Russia, the Bolsheviks and the revolution. So yeah, Germany is not to blame for that one. You German out there are not to blame for it. You need to be deprogrammed about that period. And if everything was fair and square in the world, then oh hell yes, that's one of my proposals. Then we also need to talk, if we are talking about fair and square, then we need to talk about those false repayments for World War I. After all, we Germans were not guilty. Yet here we are, Danzig, for example. Old German territory, gone. The Poles make a claim to the Germans about these atrocities. We want to have retribution for it. We want this. Okay. Fair and square. Fair and square. But then also be fucking fair and square about World War I. So let's talk then about what you did there. In the period between World War I, after World War I, when those territories were lost, and what happened to those German people who all of a sudden belonged to Poland or to the Czech, I believe, the Czechoslovakians, etc. What happened to those people? Be honest. Be honest. Don't look away like the UK and France and the Zionists wanted you to look away from it. Be honest. So, it's very hard to talk about honesty and the Second World War and the First World War, especially if the First World War is not discussed, because the First World War and the treatment of the German people, especially the reason now that we are so 100 years down the road in history, we now know the true reason why they wanted to destroy the German people up to this day. Now you know. So what about fairness? What about we discuss this in Europe as well? No, we cannot. I dare to say, bring it on. If you want to deny me that right, to discuss publicly, what about that part of German heritage? What about repayments to Germany? What about Germany finally has its own constitution? And if you like the USA so much, I keep suggesting, copy-paste the American Constitution, except the Federal Reserve Bank fraud. Kick out the Deutsche Bank and its fraud. Huh? Demand back your German gold and keep it in Germany. You want to be sovereign? You want to be peaceful? Germany, you do not want to be misused, you German out there, like happened World War I. Then we got all the consequences that led to World War II. You do not want to be misused again? Then indeed, take again control of your monetary system. That part you should have learned from Hitler in the positive way. Yeah, that Wirtschaftswunder. I applaud him for it. Heck, the whole world applauded him for it. He was Times Man of the Year. Man of the Year for Times Magazine. Let's be honest. It's just honest. And you still have a lot of stuff thanks to Hitler. Let's be honest. Child support, social housing, highway infrastructure in Germany. That was the the envy of many Dutch. Oh, there you can drive as fast as you want. And many did. Heck, I did. Enjoying freedom, you know, in some way with your vehicle. Those great autobahns. And yes, we all know, of course, why and how it is presented in the history books, how I learned it in the Netherlands, that it was all done for the war machinery of Hitler. Well, if he did so, kudos to him. You are responsible for the defense of your country, right? Regardless that you step out your borders later, like we do in the Netherlands. We started out with a defense force. Now we are an offense force, NATO. Blind vassals of NATO. We will follow the USA in everything. So I dare to say there is a comparison. I dare to say there is a comparison. Yeah, my little diary about our zeitgeist and the comparisons World War I, World War II. Who are the ones making all this bullshit for us? And who we finally have to get rid of? Starting in Germany. Starting in Germany. Why? Well, your enemy. Yes, your enemy, Germany. They declared themselves your enemy and have been working and treating you like an enemy for the past 100 years. They admit it in writing. Up to this day, the doctrine is to never allow a strong Germany. That means you out there, German people, regardless if you are a Turk, a Moroccan, a Syrian, whatever, in Germany, a citizen in Germany. That means they want to keep you And they wrote your constitution, guaranteeing that you would not be free. Heck, how much more proof do you need? How much more proof do you need that you are still occupied by that very same force? Huh? It's a legit question. Why should Germany not be best buddies with Russia? Right? After all, they shared a very good relation for many years. Many years. Huh? Both profited from each other and their friendships. And then the USA came. Jealous. Like always, like the past 100 years. And destroyed the Nord Stream 2. Even boasting they would do it. One way or the other. And then your governor, Scholz, because he's just a governor. Remember, Germany, you are occupied, just like Japan. And you have a governor. You are a vassal. It's true. Sad, but true. Then your governor refuses even to acknowledge that the master committed a terrorist attack against his so-called people he claims to represent. He and his government. All of them. I don't know. There was a time in Germany, everywhere in Europe, in every single regime or whatever you wanted to call yourself back then. Huh? It was considered treason what these people do. Really. And they had certain punishments for it too. Heck, it's just true. And I said it before, and they removed a account for it, the German government, calling it hate speech. It's not hate speech, it's just factual truth. Look at the era, Soviet era. Look at the era under Hitler. Look at the era under the USA, with the Japanese who were born in the USA. Internment camps. Other countries, they did all the same. Look at all the quotas they had throughout the history in Europe about Jews, how many Jews they would allow. Let's be honest, that's your European history. Let's not kid ourselves that we are somehow, better than the other country. We're not. And the sooner we realize this, we Europeans, I'm not talking about nationalities now, in particular. We Europeans, the sooner we realize these black pages and realize that we can point fingers till kingdom comes in Europe and then keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again in hating each other for decades, generations to come. I know what I'm talking about. Hey, heck, I was a victim of it. And that hatred against Germans decades later. So yeah, I can see where other people come from who experience these kind of hatred as well, when they are not even the guilty ones. I mean, look at Russians. You want to claim they are all Soviets? Oh my fucking god. Then you are really sadly it's like with a sect, I keep saying, then you really need re-education camps about history. Because you are like in a sect, then indoctrinated to believe a certain point of view up to the point that you, new generations, never ever suffered on the hands of Russia. On the contrary, you benefited from it. I'm 57. I grew up benefiting from this peace between Russia and us. You too. We benefited from it. The economy went very well. I worked for projects also with my construction company for German projects, and cross-European projects, etc. We all benefited from it, period. Don't close your eyes for it, because now you lost it. And if you want to get it back, then you are asking the wrong people. You are. Heck, they all promote the EU, one way or another. One way or another. It doesn't matter if they want a Brexit, a Nexit. They still promote then one way or another the agenda of the USA or Israel or whatever. Why is that? Oh, I'll tell you why. The monetary system. That's why. Ken O'Keefe is right. All the others out there are right. Peter Joseph with his Zeitgeist documentaries is right about the fiat currency system. They are right about the debt system. It's fucking simple to understand. Let's make it very simple calculation. 100 USD is printed. That's all that's in circulation that we all have to deal with. And now the person who printed it asked of all of us, please, somehow, magically, give me 110 USD back. 10 USD more than that is in circulation. You start to understand now the scam. Yet they demand that I give from my hard labor, which I did all my life up to the point that I got my disability. And then I'm still as a volunteer working for humans and animals alike. I love to do that. So I'm not complaining. But heck, I lost my company, everything. And I paid a huge debt to the state that they claimed I had. So my question is, to whom did I have this debt, right, that you claim I have on my labor? It's that fucking simple. Calculate it in time, not in money, in time. Take 12 months and you lose 50%, that's 6 months of your life. You were laboring for someone else, for those bankers, those private bankers. At the end of the day, it's those private bankers. Your taxes go to those private bankers. 6 months of your life, every year, up to the day that you die, even when you have your pension. So, I ask you, fair and square, we need to have a discussion. And that starts indeed with World War I, because our European history, sadly, got really, really fucking overwritten with that period of time. Can we all agree? Bolsheviks and everything. It's our history, our common history. And I intend to write it At least this time, honestly, from our time, honestly. And I hope at the end of the day, when all this passes, then that we will have a republic in Europe. I really love the American example. I really do. I love the Magna Carta. I wish we had it in the Netherlands or in Germany or anywhere in Europe. And the fastest way to change a system is to copy-paste. Just copy-paste. A good example, and that would be the original Constitution of the USA. It's that plain and simple. The whole Western world follows the USA, so-called beacon of freedom and democracy. Then start by copy-pasting to prove this fact, right? That we are all that Western freedom and democracy, that we are equal, right? Then copy-paste it. That's my argument. And if you go into another country and you claim you're gonna bring there freedom and democracy, then leave behind, instead of that monster of a constitution in Deutschland or Japan, where they cannot even discuss who dropped the atomic bombs. Fuck's sake. No, it's time for some honest talking. And it's time for recording honestly history like I do from Twitter. It really is time to talk about what needs to change, because we can no longer claim that our system is anything but democratic. We can no longer claim that our systems are, human. We cannot. Not with a straight face. We cannot. And I am, for one, very fed up with it. I am ashamed. Why should I now... Okay, so I was ashamed of Germany all my childhood up to this moment that we started with the SMO. Now more and more I start to realize, wait a second. Start to wake up that this guilt trip that I experienced up to this day. Yes. Like mentally suffering from this guilt trip. Believe it or not. To this day. Now I start to realize some hard truths. Like, what the fuck? This really happened? And how did it happen? And how did they get people this way? Well, you see it happen nowadays on Twitter, right? That's why I record it. But how did they manipulate everyone up to this day? Well, the conclusion is indeed fucking simple. The monetary system. And the only way you are guaranteed freedom and liberty is if you take the words of the founding fathers at heart, who warned you for these people, these very people, that Andrew Jackson was the very last... Okay, JFK. I wanted to say the very last president to fight them, but JFK did so. He was the very last. And after that, they all were warned, we will kill you. Heck, they might come after me for speaking like this, right? They come after everyone who speaks like this. Small voice, big voice. The only difference is that you don't see how they take out the small voices. Just like in the Second World War. Really. Just like in the USSR, really. The small voices. They start with the ordinary people, and yes, the ones, the intelligentsia, they give more attention, of course, broadly in newspapers, etc. But you have no fucking clue how many millions of people disappeared. Ordinary people who disappeared. The knock in the night. Poof, gone. And the neighbors, they wake up to this fact. And they all become like this. Likewise, the same, in a different way, you can observe when you are on Twitter, when you see accounts disappearing, when you see accounts, small accounts like me, being, loaded with bollocks reports, flooded with bollocks reports until the algorithm then decides to take you out. Just like the knock on the door. I make that comparison because it is in some form comparable. These accounts that get scrubbed via Twitter Gestapo like Troll Rensix and Robert van der Noorda. These tactics are showing how all the dissidents will be eliminated, sort of speak. Really. It's really comparable. So that behavior is observable from the community. And you wonder why the USR, Stalin, was able to purchase. You are doing the same, but in a virtual world. You are purging. You are. If you cannot see the psychological comparisons between this digital world and this digital purge of dissidents and censorship with what happened in reality with in the USSR, here in communist Romania, in East Germany under the Stasi, under the Gestapo, etc. If you cannot see that comparison, then yes, I am talking to a group of people who are clearly somehow not on the same level as I am in my way of thinking. I had a buddy, a very good buddy, a professor, a world-renowned professor here in Transylvania. Unfortunately, he died during the COVID period. He and a few associates, we could talk for hours about this on an academic level. That means with respect to facts. If you have facts for your claim, please present them. But if you claim to have facts that refute my claim of something, then you need to present the refuting evidence. It's plain and simple. That's the level I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this level on the fucking street on Twitter. If you want to have a debate with me about this, then it should be face to face. Yes, this account will do that. I will set up something like a podcast. I need to wait, unfortunately, again 48 hours. I thought today to make it a verified premium account to do so and start with this. Now I need to wait because the verification I could only do via my phone and I didn't have X on my phone installed, only on my laptop. So And because you now add a new device to X, which is good, super, that they have this security in place. Now I need to wait again 2 days. Heck, there's a lot of work. I need to cut a lot of grass. Huh? Ollie? Have to take care of you guys. And I need to make my music for that documentary. So, have a nice day, Europe. Think about all these things, because your life is truly depending on it. Do you know this? Are you even realizing this? We are talking possible World War III. That's not an abstract idea anymore. Yeah. Okay. Have a nice day, Europe. I hope you are okay, like always. Whoever you are. Jew, Muslim, Christian, Orthodox. I hope you are okay.